No thoughts. Head empty. I feel stupid. It's a sentiment that everyone has felt before. To feel dumb, to not understand, or be able to wrap your head around something. It's all perfectly normal. Maybe you've just failed a test, or can't figure out how to do something, or made a really bad mistake, and by the end, all you're thinking is, why am I such an idiot? It's frustrating, it really is. But that's alright. What I'm getting at is a very simple idea that people tend to overlook and or disagree with at a fundamental level. It's okay to feel stupid. This is a direct quote by Kazuya Tsurumaki when he was asked to define what Fooly Cooly is all about. Now, what is Fooly Cooly? Fooly Cooly is genuinely the best anime I have ever experienced. It is a masterpiece and one of 2 anime I have ever given an honest 10 out of 10. This is a coming-of-age story about puberty and adolescence. It's a very basic message. Growing up is difficult. And yeah, fucking spot on. Growing up's a bitch, and for some, it can suck real bad. But is that all Fooly Cooly is about? Honestly, I have no fucking clue, and that's the beauty of it. What is Fooly Cooly? It doesn't fucking matter. It's a crazy acid trip of an anime that has so many wild twists and turns, and half the time you don't even know what in the world is going on. But fuck me, is this cool. There are hundreds of theories about what Fooly Cooly truly means, and all of those theories are completely valid. As cliche as it may sound, Fooly Cooly is what you take away from it. You can think and theorize until you're left with a killer migraine, and maybe, just maybe, you created something that feels satisfying. Yet, who knows if you're right? I don't even think Tsurumaki himself knows. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Pick up on the things you pick up on, because unless you're going out of your way to scour forums and trying to understand this fever dream of an anime, your initial reaction will probably be very similar to mine. I don't know what the fuck I just watched, but it was bloody awesome. And that is an experience that I would kill to be able to relive. A lot of the time, people think too deeply about things, trying to squeeze an answer out of every little matter. Take English classes, for example. All that poetry you had to analyze. Yeah, fuck off if you actually believe that any of it meant more than face value. At the end of the day, not everything is about feminism, or Marxism, or Machiavellianism. If it made you feel something, it succeeded. Don't think too hard about it. See it for what it is, and come to your own conclusions. But Naota is the kind of kid who can't let things be. He has to push himself to be something he really just isn't. Growing up in a town where nothing amazing happens and everything is ordinary, all he wants to do is grow up, be an adult so badly. He takes on responsibility after responsibility, believing himself to be mature enough to be considered one. However, none of the adults acknowledge this despite acting in a manner far more immature than him. He's a 12-year-old kid. As much as he wants to act older and cooler, it's an act. He's just a kid. Though this stoic front he puts up is preventing him from embracing that and living his childhood. And so, the universe decides to give him a big ol' fuck you and uproot this life of his. Essentially forcing him to live a little and enjoy the lies of youth, no matter how hard he tries to deny it. Pulling him into the crux of an insane adventure. This is Haruko, a crazy, sexy, manipulative, unpredictable alien girl here to just cause chaos. The first thing she does, crash into Naota on her gorgeous yellow Vespa, then smack him around the head with her guitar. And his ordinary life, in which nothing amazing happens, gets flipped on its head. Haruko is the girl next door in every 2000s rom-com, but the romance is completely one-sided, she's batshit crazy, and probably hopped up on crack. If you need any more proof that she is just the most perfect anime girl out there, I have one thing to say. Makima from Chainsaw Man is based off of her. Woof. As much as Naota tries to deny his childishness, the psychotic antics Haruko drags him into makes this facade pretty bloody hard to keep up. With Haruko inserting herself into Naota's life, he has no choice but to get swept up into her madness. As he tries his best to maintain his stoic composition and composure, he eventually gives in to his childlike innocence, whether he realizes it or not. And once he decides to be true to himself and stops overthinking things, he's a lot less cynical and, well, happier. Just as Naota feels more whole once he lets go of trying to be mature and embrace his life as a child, the audience can honestly take this same advice. Fooly Cooly is an anime that can be looked at from 100 different angles, trying to figure out what it all really means. But I honestly think that takes away from the face value of what it offers. It's okay to feel stupid. You don't need to understand everything. And watching this show, yeah, you ain't gonna fucking understand it all, no matter how hard you try. Why does Haruko bash Naota over the head with her guitar? He's trying to be a normal, boring adult, and she wants him to rethink his decision. Why is the show called FLCL, pronounced Fooly Cooly? It sounded cool. And abbreviating long English words is also cool. Why is the show so needlessly complicated? Tsurumaki thought fucking with people was funny. Why is Fooly Cooly the way it is? Because that's just what popped out of his and his team's imagination. A lot of shit happening simply because they thought it would be neat. It's okay to feel stupid. I think seeing this show at face value is the most rewarding way of seeing it. Though, that's not to say that delving into the intricacies is bad, because there are a ton of beautiful subtleties that you can piece together. And in-universe, Naota isn't the only character to support this idea. Eri is another kid who was trying way too hard to grow up, who had already believed she had grown up. She was way too mature for her age, and her most prevalent line is literally, "It's no big deal." Essentially, attempting to shake off any lingering attachment to her childhood identity. But, truth be told, she wasn't happy. She wasn't being honest with herself. And what sparked a change in her life? Accepting that she isn't some higher-than-thou mature adult, but a regular-ass kid who can be selfish and immature at times. She talked to her parents about the way she's been feeling. She cried about it and let it all out. She threw away the facade she had been holding up and decided to just be a kid. I can relate. I was one of these kids, these serial overthinkers. Everything needed an answer. I'd study me ass off so that I would understand. I felt the need to grow up as fast as I could. And you know what? It was a miserable existence. Placing so much pressure and expectations on yourself, it sucked. And so, I just stopped giving a shit and life was a whole lot brighter. I didn't worry about the details and lived life how I wanted. And then, head empty. Brrr. The point of Fooly Cooly is simple, unadulterated fun. Don't worry about the deeper meanings, just enjoy what's on screen. The plot, the story itself, honestly doesn't matter, nor does it make a lick of sense. Sure, you can piece together a semblance of a coherent tale, but For what? Giant mechas sprouting from Naota's head, the dick jokes, the plans of Medical Mechanica, the Pirate King Atomisk, Fully Corley. It's not important. Yes, they mean something to the characters and what they represent is significant. But as for the lore of the world, nope. Doesn't matter one bit. A lot of the decisions made for Fully Corley was simply because someone on the staff had a fun idea and others went, yeah, I like that. The star that steals the show, however, is Fully Corley's unprecedented style. This is an anime like no other, and is probably the most funky fucking thing out there. The animation is beautifully crazy, with experimental shots that studios would never have the balls to run with nowadays. The infamous manga panel sequence is one of a kind, and perfectly captures the incoherence of their conversation, and the show itself. The 360-degree rotating cuts done in 3D look better than most 3D anime to date. This show came out in the fucking year 2000. Fight sequences, characters simply interacting. It is all stylized in its Fully Corley kind of way. And yeah, despite its age, is still one of the best looking anime out there. Its soundtrack is also unrivaled. I have never seen another anime come even close to matching the raw power that the Fully Corley soundtrack produces. A lot of the soundtrack can be attributed to the Japanese alternative rock band known as The Pillows, and they fucking rock. There wasn't a second that I wasn't absolutely bopping to the tunes, and it ain't like they just chucked in good songs willy-nilly. Each part of the OST is perfectly placed in order to capture the energy on screen, the vibes we feel, and it's just mwah. And speaking of The Pillows, comes the most legendary anime ED of all time. So good it cured my ED. Fully Corley doesn't have an opening, and instead has the greatest ending in anime history. An unskippable banger. Ride on Shooting Stars by The Pillows. And the visuals that accompany it are also something that you'll never see outside Fully Corley. Each scene is cut beautifully. The pacing is super fucking fast, which perfectly captures the feeling of adolescence. Looking back, it's a fast-paced melodramatic blur, just like those years. And there are scenes that perfectly capture this chaos, with so much going on, that if you choose to read this part, you'll miss another part, and yeah, that's just how it was. There will never be another anime that slaps as hard as Fully Corley. This anime has a way of conveying so much, whilst also conveying so little at the same time. Because it's nonsense. Yet, so much of it makes too much sense, if you get what I'm trying to say. Every scene lives and breathes creativity and imagination. You can tell that the staff had a fucking ball creating this mess. It is a genuine masterpiece, the best anime I have ever seen, and it is not close. There will never be another Fully Corley. And no, the reboots and sequels don't count. They're shit. But the original season of Fully Corley, the anime that aired in the year 2000 on Adult Swim, it is a legendary and must-see show. Like I had said earlier, I would kill to be able to experience Fully Corley for the first time again. While I may not, it just gets it. It makes you feel so dumb, yet so fulfilled at the same time. And so, it's gonna be an easy 10 out of 10 on the Cody board. In other words, you're dumb. Deal with it.